Hello, we are here today to discuss Planet Unknown Supermoon, the first expansion for Planet Unknown, which is really strange that Miranda's not in this video because this is one of her all-time favorite games. So
she did just win, right?
She did win. She
pretty handily.
Yeah, as usual. But before we get any further, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell.
Where are they at?
They're down and down.
Right about there. Okay.
About that vicinity. And that way you can follow along as we go through all of our future endeavors and hijinks in the world of gaming.
That's right.
And we got a lot to come because we just got back from Gen Con, which will be our video that we'll probably post first,
right,
but that we're shooting next.
And of course, we'll review all of Randy's games, and my games stay at home being sad.
You could have brought them.
So, just the way it is. I'm used to
Nobody brings board games to your house, Randy.
So Rob, what are the deets on this game, as you would say?
So the original game, which we already reviewed, what came out in 2022, Supermoon says it came out in 2024, but didn't we get it this year? I don't remember if we got it this year or not, because I kickstarted it.
I'm pretty sure it came in late 2024.
Okay. But this is the first time we all got to play the expansion. So I just looked up the rankings for Supermoon at 7.7. It doesn't have an overall rank on Board Game Geek. It does play 1 to 6. It says it's 65 to 80 minutes. We played quite a bit longer than that. Ages 10 and up. Designed by Ryan Lambert and Adam Rayberg. Art by James Churchill and Yoma. Published by Adams Apple Games. MSRP for just the expansion is $35. I saw it on Miniature Market and Card House for $26.99. Noble Knight and a company I've not heard of, Cloak and Gamer. Kind of a cool name. Also for $28.
Nice.
Unless you're like me and is stupid and rebuys the exact same play match.
Which I appreciate because I got the extra set of mats.
Yeah. So there's that. Alright, so let's talk about the quality of components. So it's basically the same as the base game. You've got some cards you get to add in. I do like the fact they had more cards to put into the Civ decks.
Right.
You didn't add any new tiles per se, except for there's some additional singles and doubles that you can play during the course of the game as part of. It's kind of a modular expansion.
Right.
It's not a single.
And we only played with really one module, right?
No, we played with all of them except for the fractured planet and the fractured corporation, and that's just like somebody who would play those, and there was no mats for that, which is kind of frustrating. I got mats for everything else, but the ones the new ones. And the moons that don't have mats either. I don't understand.
It's kind of cool though. The fractured corporation, the trackboard is actually in 2 pieces.
Yeah.
So
and the mat
is in 4 pieces.
Yeah.
So kind of thematic. I like that.
So
playing like that.
Yeah, and then they came out with a topper for this, which was a problem with the original design of this, is it's rounded. But the topper that they gave is a flat, so it doesn't fit smooth on this. But
then they give you a rubber band.
They gave us basically it's a giant rubber band, if you will, kind of what you would see like on a Tupperware container, maybe.
Because it's kind of like quad, separates in 4 sections, and it's hard. I put it on. It was actually pretty hard. It was not easy.
It's definitely not ideal. I think they should have made it curved like the top of this.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they did it flat. But that at least they tried. I'll give them that. But it's still not a perfect solution. We've had this game downstairs for quite a while, the base game, and we've not really had a tile spilling out per se.
It limited you from storing it on its side. You would have to store it on its bottom. So
yeah. So as far as the quality of components, I've never been impressed with the components in this game. It's kind of a shame because they did do these nicer like ships, but
the life pods
the iPods.
Life pods.
Life pods, yes. But then they went and put a wash on them that just is hideous. I mean,
I don't think it looks that bad. It's just.
I think it's one of the worst washes I've ever seen.
It's not a good wash, though. I mean, it doesn't look good.
It looked like somebody busted a black ink pen.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. It kind of looks like someone took a pen and just kind of flicked ink on it.
Might remind me of a pen. Someone broke my VIG pen. I'm not gonna say who.
I did not break it.
Okay.
I also did not break it.
Yeah, but you was.
I was
who
using
it last.
when
I
it
wasn't
broke.
using it last. Were you using it last?
Maybe it was Alan. He's not here to defend himself.
That's true. We can throw him under the bus.
All right, I didn't break it, but I broke it.
Okay. Moving on. As far as quality, I'll give it. Given the, it's got some cardboard. It's got the boards. There's nothing real outstanding about, particularly about the expansion. I'll give it maybe a 6.5.
I think I'm the same way. It's a bunch of cardboard. I mean, the plastic pieces, I mean, in of themselves are nice, but
those were part of the base.
That's part of the original game. So, I mean, as far as the new stuff, it's more the same.
Yeah.
Were any of these pieces new, or was it just these pieces?
It's just the singles and the doubles.
Yeah, the singles and the doubles, and it's
So
just the same quality as the rest.
I did have a little bit of trouble, like, fitting, like, this piece right here.
Yeah, but that's...
So some of the new
that's
pieces...
one of the bases.
Right, but some of the new pieces, and this was not the only one I did. Some of the new pieces had trouble fitting inside the old pieces. It felt like putting a puzzle together instead of a board game. So I'm going to go with 7.
It's a polyomino game. You're pretty much always trying to solve a puzzle with a polyomino game.
Thank you for that vocabulary lesson.
Yeah.
You're not my 7th grade. You're not Mr. Rickmer.
Okay, I don't know who Mr. Rickmer is,
He
but
was
okay.
my 7th grade English teacher.
Oh, okay.
Either way. So,
All right.
did you give it a score?
I said 6.5.
I know you did. I said the same thing.
And I said 7.
Okay. So.
Okay. Moving on to theme. So the theme of this is, again, you're exploring space. This case, you've got a supermoon, whatever that means, that you are exploring on top of your standard planet. So the moon gives you a laser. I do like the lasers. That's
Yeah,
really
the
only
illumination for
add-on
the satellite's
that was
pretty
nice. And they move around the planet, orbit it, fires lasers, and destroys any of the meteors that are in the path of it, which is kind of cool idea.
And if you don't, you get negative points.
Yep. If you don't get rid of them one way or the other.
On the moon, yeah.
Yeah. And then, it has a set collection aspect to it where you can get points for that.
Yeah, that kept me from being last place.
As far as the rest, the other components that it adds for modules is the salvage tiles and terrain patches, which are the doubles and singles that you can use to fill in. The doubles play just basically as like a two-piece, is if you're drawing a tile from the board, but in this case they're both two of the same color.
Right. So that way you get one of each color,
Yeah.
like you're supposed to with the regular tiles.
Right, and you play them as pairs, and they let you fill in holes that are maybe allow you to keep the game going a little longer. And then the singles are just different colors, like the green tiles in the base game that lets you fill in holes at the end of the game or during the course of the game, depending on how far you moved up the technology track. But if you're playing without the objectives in the game, the color of the tiles don't really have any relevance because they don't trigger a movement up the track.
Right.
All they do is take a spot on your board, so it really doesn't.
It helps with in-game scoring. That's about it.
But yeah, but it doesn't even. It just fills in holes.
Well, right.
Just like the green tiles do. So they don't. We played without objectives, and it kind of is a moot point at that point what color they are.
Sure.
Those seemed like a very I'd say a superfluous. It didn't add on to the game.
So were the objectives part of the expansion?
No,
and we
there
just
were
didn't use
base
them?
games. The base game had objectives,
And then this had more in them.
Yeah, and
Why didn't we use them tonight?
because Miranda says I fight about those. It's the events that are really the ones I found problematic, not the objectives. But we didn't play with them for whatever reason. So it's probably something. If you're going to play with objectives, this may add value. If you don't play with objectives, it doesn't have any value whatsoever.
Okay.
And then you have the Fractured Planet and the Fractured Corporation, which really just one player plays that board, and it's not really that much of an addition. So we pretty much included all the main edition modules, if you will. as far as the overall thematics, I think the moon is a nice touch, but it doesn't have the playmat to go with the rest of them. So
Right.
that's a disappointment.
And that might be something they work on in the future, but as of right now, they don't have a neoprene mat. I mean, and if you don't have the neoprene mat for the base game, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
But if you do,
It looks funny.
It does look a little weird.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal to me, but I could see it being an issue for some.
Yeah. So, given all that, I'm probably thematically, I can't remember what I gave this. It's a space game. You definitely feel spacey. You know, the gameplay is polyomino collection and placement. But you know, it does give you a feel for exploration of the moon and the planet. So, given all that, I'm gonna probably go ahead and give this a 7.
I think I'm a 7.5 only because, like the base game, the thematics to me comes in with the mechanics. The mechanics really make it feel like when you go up these tracks and the things, the extra bonuses you do are kind of cool, and that kind of makes it more thematic for me. On, like, for example, the rover, when you're going up, that allows you to do the movement. There's combos that allow you to add extra movement to it based off of your technology, which makes sense because if your technology is better, then your rover's going to do better, and that makes sense. So I think I'm just a little bit higher at a 7.
Okay, Heather?
I feel like there should have been a bonus based on contiguous.
Like Longest Road or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that, and it just wasn't.
That's where the objectives come in, but
Oh, that's where the objectives come in.
yeah, but then you have to put the objectives between you and your opponents on either side, and whoever gets the highest.
Like between two cities.
Right.
But opposite, because between two cities, you're cooperatively going for that goal.
Okay.
Here, you're competing with the person on your left and your right.
I think that for me, that must be what it was missing then.
I think it was definitely missing that aspect, but even then, I don't think it's a perfect implementation of an objective. You know, I think there should be like common goals out there that everybody goes for, as opposed to.
Well, I just felt like it was missing something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just didn't realize there was just no these are the cities, like in terraforming Mars. If you have X number of cities, you get something.
Yeah.
If you have X number, if you have
Well,
whatever, I felt like it was missing
again, you
that.
have common objectives you
Yeah.
can trigger if you're the first to get them, and then you have the goals that are milestones that you can ultimately be the highest in.
So for me, because it was missing that, I felt like the theme was like, would this be a hospital planet for me to go to? I don't know. Maybe
Hospital planet?
Hospitable.
Oh, I've already spent a lot of time in a hospital planet. Trust me.
No, would this be a hospitable place for me to go? Would I be able to figure out what's where?
Yeah.
And the way I put the board together, I think the answer is no. Maybe somebody else's would. I don't know. But so yeah, I'm going to give that a 6.5.
All right. So moving on to the rulebook. The nice thing about the rulebook is it is super short. It's 4 pages long. It is just literally going over the added modules, and each module itself is less than a page. Some of them are way less than a page. So you can read through this in like 5 minutes as far as the whole book if you were trying to read through every component. And it does have the pictures to show you what the pieces are, the counts, so you make sure you have everything. And it does its job, does it well, does it get you in quick. There was really no confusion over any of the added in pieces. So as far as the rulebook goes, I think the only thing that this is missing in my eyes, ultimately, I like a compendium rulebook that has everything in it. But this is as far as being an add-on, I think this does a fine job. I'll give it a 9.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to gameplay. So, we're not going to go into the detail of the gameplay as far as how Planet Unknown plays, because if you want to go through that, you can watch the Planet Unknown video. It's already detailing the base game there and our struggles and challenges with the different ways to play the game.
Right.
As far as this game goes, the add-ons are the moon is the main one, and the moon lets you place tiles. You can choose to place on their planet or the moon When you play it on the moon, you're going to move that satellite, the number of tile segments that are on your tile you placed, and you're going to fire a laser and ultimately try to destroy meteors that have been played on your moon.
Right.
You don't get the laser, you don't get the meteor as points though at the end of the game. They just go back to the supply.
And unlike your planet, your meteors start. I mean, your moon starts with a couple meteors immediately.
With meteors on
so you really should keep that in mind, because if you don't do anything, it's immediately -6 points.
And you can't place tiles on those meteors to cover them. So they're basically blockades while you're playing your tiles. And it's a much smaller board, so you
for sure.
don't have a lot of room to play tiles on anyway. But it does give you that capability if you collect the 6 different technologies or whatever, your different buildings and vehicles, and
different
so
icons.
If you collect them, you get 8 points, and you can collect them more than once. Heather
Heather
managed to pull off doing that. She got 2 sets of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can score 16 points, and with -0, you end up with a total of 16 points, or you could potentially get more, possibly. But you could possibly get more, but I think it'd be really tough on that moon to get more than 2 sets of them.
It would be
I
hard.
only have 3 empty spaces. I don't think I could have gotten 3.
Yeah, I think 2 is probably the max you're going to be looking at. So at least it's another 16 points you could score.
Sure.
The other add-ons, as we mentioned, were these they call them salvage. They call these salvage tiles, and you get a set that's basically one of each color set, and you play them in pairs. So if you get your 2 in front of you and you don't like the color or the combinations there, or the shape doesn't fit into your board, you can save these to play at the end of the game, which is what I did. You play them, and these will give you more flexibility about playing at the end of the game, where you might be limited in your choices or limited in the places you can play. These will let you go up 2 different tracks by 1, and but they do come with a meteor on each one, a poison pill, if you will, because you can end up hosing yourself on a route that gives you points at the end of the game for completing it.
But if you put it on your moon, you place both. That's 4 spaces that your satellite can move, and hopefully it might blast some of them all.
Yeah, so you could put them on your moon. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. The third one is, as we mentioned, these individual tiles. That basically, these are surrogates for the greenery tiles that you can get from moving up the green track.
Biomass.
The biomass, yeah. That you can play as you get them. If you collect them during the game, you will play them and fill in, kind of like patchwork, filling in the holes. Or if you moved up the technology track far enough, you could hoard these until the end of the game and then backfill a bunch of places, which is what I did. I got up and managed to complete several rows. It didn't really help any, because we ended up losing badly to Miranda, who somehow managed to fill her entire board.
The entire board, except for 1 meteorite.
And 1 meteor, the blocking her. So she got like almost
max points, yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of crazy.
She had 35 points just from the bonuses on this.
Yeah, and I scored 41 altogether. She got 30 just on that.
Yeah. So the other was, we mentioned, the Fractured Corporation and the Fractured Moon, or Fractured Planet, or whatever. And one person can play that as a board and play it as a corporation, and they basically get to do the abilities of that. We didn't include it, so we won't go really over it, because we didn't read through all that.
But it looked neat. It had its own separate track board, and it's set, and it's almost the same. It felt like it was almost maybe a little bit smaller than your planet, but it's definitely bigger than the moon.
Yeah.
And it had 4 sections, and then it looked like you could then treat each one separately.
Well, you had to, because one of the things it did say was that basically each section of that had a restriction around which tiles could be placed in it.
Okay.
So you can't play, maybe you can't play water in this quadrant, or whatever.
That would be neat.
Yeah.
I think that'd be interesting.
But, we were playing with everybody having the same corporation, the same planets, because that's, if you veer from that, that's where we found issues with the gameplay. And, that's where, we've run into situations where either the game ended way prematurely because somebody took like one of the really difficult planets and wasn't prepared for that, and it ended up losing the game within the first few rounds.
Right.
Or we ran into situations where the corporation was broken, or it allowed you to move down the track, which I know it's designed. They said that was the intention, but it sure feels broken when you do that. So we differ in our opinions very dramatically about how that it should be with the add-ons being that divisive.
Right.
It's again a similar situation to
like Tapestry.
Tapestry is what I'm thinking of. Where
some of the factions
it's not one of the best implementations of variable player powers. Variable player powers are great in some cases, but unfortunately, you got to be very careful because they can get overpowered. As far as I don't feel it like this adds that much. That's the biggest complaint I had. It did. I mean, the moon I thought was a good add, but apart from that, I didn't feel like this was a necessary expansion.
Right.
There wasn't that much gained from it, and particularly if you didn't play with objectives. If you play with objectives, then these tiles are a little more valuable. Otherwise, they're pointless. These double tiles are kind of nice, but all they really do is extend the game a few more rounds.
Right.
Where you can buy yourself some time maybe and fill in a few more holes. But I mean, it was really the moon, and even there, you're adding in a max of, say, we said 16 points that could be added on, and all of us got some value from it.
Right.
It wasn't like anybody got 0 or negative points.
Miranda didn't.
She had.
I think she got 0.
Yeah, she did 0, 0.
She still
I
didn't have negative.
She didn't have. She just made sure that the.
Yeah.
She just got
Two
rid of the
things were
meters.
done and-
Yeah.
She just focused all of her
Otherwise,
attention on the base planet. So again,
It was a good strategy. So the
Yeah.
point of it not adding much was borne out by her gameplay
yeah.
and her score.
So I just if I were going out and saying as far as the most valuable expansions, I'm thinking Terraforming Mars Prelude. I'm thinking the Lords of Waterdeep.
Right. Like the Undermountain and.
Yeah. And
I like Under Mountain, but
Skullport.
Skullport.
Yeah.
I hate that one.
I mean,
love
those
it.
to me are like the two pinnacles of
Right.
best, add-ons to gameplay. This I don't think was anywhere near those.
Well, the best one of all time, though, is Tuscany.
Tuscany,
I
that would
agree.
be another one. I'll give you that. So this just doesn't change the game that much,
Right.
And it doesn't add enough to me to make it an essential add-on. As far as how my rating on just the expansion, I'm probably going to give it a 5.5.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I
Could've
just
played
didn't think I don't think it had that much value to
Right.
it. I mean, what are your thoughts?
What do you think?
I think, was there only one card in the black benefits that gave you the chance to take the rover off your moon and put it back on the planet?
There was one card that let you move it, reposition it where
Right.
you want.
Right, but was there only one of those,
Yes.
and only you got to do it?
Yeah, because there were that I would say maybe I'll go to a 6 because they did add more of those cards. So given that, also added a bunch of events, but again, the events are one of the challenges I have with this game is that the events, some of them are broken. So I'll give it a 6 because of the fact that it did add some of those cards.
Okay.
Hey, wait. Did you say that objective cards were part of the base game?
There's some,
yeah,
Oh, it added
some.
more?
They added
It added
more
more.
of the cards.
Yeah, I like this game, but you want me to give you a number?
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as
For
just the expansion.
Just the expansion.
So
Well, the
this
satellite
part
was
of it-
the satellite was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be rushing out to buy it.
Yeah.
I like your number 6. It works for me.
I'm a 6. I mean, again, it's fun, but it added.
Does one of us need to change our number now?
No,
The 666 across the board.
That's a good point. All right, 6.5. I'll do 6.5.
Okay.
But it did nothing to really add to it. The satellite miniature is cool, but the actually mechanic wise, it didn't add enough to really satisfy me in any way other than what the base game already does.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, that's our thoughts on Planet Unknown Supermoon. If you've got, a different opinion, let us know.
Please let us know. And
you,
why? Why do you like it so much?
Yeah.
It is pretty.
Let us know what your favorite expansions or most valuable expansions are for games, as far as what ones you think add the most to a game.
Yeah, I think Raiders was also a really good expansion set of the North Sea.
Okay.
Those were really good.
So, all right, until next time, you keep on exploring and we'll keep on playing. All right, bye.
Hello, how are you doing?
All right, ready?
No. Are you?
He combed his hair, so he should be ready. And he used the comb, not a shoe.
That's right. I'm going to edit like 15 minutes worth of this video out.
That needs to stay in because that is just funny.
Nobody's going to know what that means.
Oh, you need to tell them.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
All right.